The reigning NBA champion Bucks lucky to get away with a Game 1 win against the Bulls. A game they were 10.5-point favorites. They win by 7, and it was even closer than this. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 27 points, 16 rebounds, but I'll tell you what, 21 turnovers in this game for Milwaukee, and it was a lot closer than people probably expected it to be. Chicago getting some big buckets from Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, but Zach LaVine was in some foul trouble, still had a double-double. But wow, this game was a lot closer than, again, the point spread had it, and people expected, because you were getting 10.5 points with the Chicago Bulls. All right, back here with Bill Reiter. Bulls and Bucks as Giannis beats the Bulls for a 14th straight time. But this was a game where they had 21 turnovers, and really the Bucks' big three were inefficient, Bill.
Yeah, this was a very unimpressive Milwaukee team. You said they're lucky to get they turned the ball over. Drew Holiday didn't play well, didn't shoot well. Chris Middleton was atrocious in terms of his offense. They turned the ball over a ton. And there was just a sense after the first quarter where they got up big, they were just lackadaisical. There wasn't a lot of energy. They looked past Chicago. And this Bulls team is markedly better when Alex Caruso is in the lineup. I know he's not a name that jumps out. That was a more dangerous Bulls team than we've seen for big parts of the second half of the season. And Milwaukee is very fortunate to get the win.
Alex Caruso for Chicago. I mean, we got to highlight him. He was everywhere for the Bulls.
Here's a fun stat for you. He played 41 games this year. He played half the regular season games for Chicago. Big enough sample size for this to matter. They were 24-17 when he was in there. That's a winning percentage that projects to 58 wins. That would have been good to win the East by a wide margin. And remember, the Chicago team led the East for a long time, for the most part, when Alex Caruso was healthy. His energy, his effort, what he does as a point guard defensively, this guy is a really important player and a piece of what they do. It doesn't mean that Chicago's going to win the series. They're not. Alex Caruso's not the difference maker in terms of winning, but I think it'll be a tougher and tighter series in terms of the lines. I can't believe it was 10.5. And in terms of the competition than maybe people expected.
Yeah, you were surprised with that
shocked.
line at 10.5.
Yeah.
You were getting 10.5 points with Chicago. If you took the Bulls, you covered. Of course, you didn't win, but when you look at this series, what would Chicago have to do to win the series, knock off the reigning NBA champs?
I mean, I'm not sure there's much that they can do based on what we saw tonight, because Vucevic was absolutely incredible. There were no big three, as you noted, from Milwaukee. Giannis is the best player on the face of the earth, even though I didn't vote for him for MVP. Maybe a bit of a mistake. I know that it happens sometimes. It was hard with Jokic, but he's the best player on earth. He's always going to have a big night. So if you can't take advantage of the fact that two of those three guys didn't play particularly well on a night where Chicago played really good defense, that's their big weakness, bottom third in defensive rating this year, it doesn't bode well. I think the answer is continue to try and foil what those guys not named Giannis want to do. Make it as hard as you can on Giannis Antetokounmpo and continue to get offensive output from some of those other guys. It'd be nice to see Zach LaVine have a bigger game, maybe bend the game to as well a little bit more, but miss some time in foul trouble.
Do you expect the rest of the series kind of go this way, where it's close, where there's these defensive battles, and of course there was a lot of turnovers in this game because of Milwaukee, but do you expect the rest of this series to kind of this slower tempo where we're going to get the games in the low 90s?
I think the game will speed up for the Bucks and they'll get better. They had lost. They obviously won the NBA championship last year, so they won 4 playoff series last year. And yet, in their last 6 playoff series, they lost their opening game 5 of those 6 times. They're slow starters, and they're the exact example we've talked about all day here on CBS Sports HQ. You can't overreact too much from one game. I actually think Milwaukee is going to get better and better as the series goes along. They're going to wear down Chicago. They're going to take away some of their positivity and their self-belief because they are a confident basketball team. And you have to think, just reverting to the mean, Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton, and probably both those guys, are going to have really good games. They are very good players. They're champions. They'll figure it out.
All right, so what's your one takeaway, your biggest takeaway from this Game 1 victory for Milwaukee?
For Milwaukee, it is that you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that means you can win any game on any given night. You turn over the ball a bunch of times. Other guys don't show up. You have a team in Chicago that's not great defensively, that plays great defensively, and that's connected to what some of those guys, some of those teammates did. When you have the best player in any series, you can win on that any given night. When you're the best player on earth, you can win any series regardless of what's going on.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.